Hey, what's up you guys, it's me Luke and welcome back to another video, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I post commentary and critique and reaction videos on basically anything on the internet that interests me, ranging from pop culture to internet culture and anything in between. So if any of that interests you, then be sure to go ahead and subscribe and turn on the post notifications bell so that you never miss another upload from me. Alrighty guys, so in the past couple weeks, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding James Charles and all of the alleged allegations, well not even alleged because there's proof at this point, of him talking inappropriately to underage minors. Now, I've made two videos on this situation, so if you've not seen those two videos, I'll link them down below. But I feel like this is gonna blow over like any of the other controversies we see with a lot of influencers, where James Charles is gonna leave for a couple weeks and come back and everyone's gonna pretend like nothing happened. And I'm here to obviously put a stop to that. I've made a couple videos on my channel like everything wrong with Shane Dawson, everything wrong with Jeffree Star, everything wrong with the Ace family, and Shushter, James Charles. It's your turn. Today I'll be going through everything wrong with James Charles from the beginning of his career to the seeming end of it, even though it's probably not the end. So let's go ahead and get into it, because without further ado, I'm about to dive in to this pile of shit. Let's get it. So first of all, James Charles rose to fame when he retook his senior yearbook photo with highlighter and apparently brought in a ring light allegedly. But this was later found out that he actually allegedly you're gonna hear that word a lot, so please get used to it, that he allegedly edited the picture, edited it. Why is that word so hard to say? Edited the pictures to make it look like his highlighter was popping and he didn't actually bring in a ring light. But that's how he rose to fame, and then he became the first boy on CoverGirl, and then he was on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and everything kind of snowballed from there. As of filming this video, he has over 25 million followers on YouTube, 36 million on TikTok, and 27 million Instagram followers. Who knows if that number will fluctuate with everything going on, but that's where he sits currently. So James Charles' first controversy was back in February of 2017, where he posted some racist tweets about the Ebola virus. He made a tweet saying, "I can't believe we're going to Africa today, OMG, what if we get Ebola?" And then in quotations, "James, we're fine, we could have got it at Chipotle last year." He basically made a long-winded apology, but the only thing that stands out to me in this apology is that he referred to Africa as a country and not a continent, which just shows the level of education, which is not very good. Then in September of 2017, he had a little hiccup, a little sister scandal, if you will. It was very minor, but basically he insulted the movie It, and he was live tweeting the movie, and people were like, "Why do you even have your phone in the cinema?" And he even argued with one of the It cast members. All of this was just for him to later on in October make an It Pennywise makeup tutorial, and people just thought this was really ironic given how he had insulted the movie and basically insulted the actors because of their movie that they were in. He was saying it was trash. Even though James apologized, he basically glorified in the fact that people were pissed at him and he was getting a bunch of angry stans watching his video and giving him views. He made a bunch of tweets about it. And then we get into James Charles perving over straight guys, which becomes a common pattern in his career. So back in October of 2018, the singer Shawn Mendes was juggling on a live stream, and James Charles commented, "Can you juggle me like that?" Which doesn't even make sense. And there was a rumor going around that Shawn Mendes said at some album release party that he didn't like James, but Shawn later cleared this up in DMs with James saying, "Hey James, sorry about all this. I've never said I don't like you or that you make me uncomfortable. Your comments actually make me laugh and I love them. Hope you're all good." Okay, I see how it is. So Shawn's not bothered by it, so I guess neither should we. But this is the start of something new. This is the start of something new. And it just keeps going on all the way through to 2021. Then another drama with another celebrity. In March of 2018, in a YouTube video with Shane Dawson, James Charles said that the rudest celebrity he had ever met was Ariana Grande because she followed him on Twitter and then later unfollowed him when she found out how problematic he was. And this was just in the beginning of his career. Ariana Grande's fans were quick to defend her decision, saying that they're glad Ariana unfollowed James because she doesn't want to disappoint her fans by following a racist. In December of 2018, James Charles came for Marlena Stahl of Makeup Geek, basically coming for her because she said she wanted to make a documentary, and he was like, "I said I wanted to make a documentary first. You're stealing my idea." When you don't own the idea of making a documentary about the beauty community, and also they came to her, James, so what are you even going on about? And he also insinuated that she would be biased, which what makes her biased but you not biased? You're in the beauty community. And let me just read you this tweet, because this tweet just shows how arrogant he is. He says, "Hi Netflix, Netflix, let's make a documentary on the behind the scenes of the beauty industry and why the community is plummeting. I already have a full outline of it done that highlights faults on all sides in a non-biased way, and platforms of millions that want to know more. Email me. As if Netflix is gonna read your tweet and email you. Please, bitch, please. And he also referred to her as like that woman and just basically disrespected her, to which Marlena responded and said, don't disrespect me or call me that woman when this woman has worked damn hard before you and helped pave the way for you to make this a full-time job. When I started, there were no sponsorships, no collabs, no commission. And yeah, he basically just disrespected her, and it came across to me as kind of misogynistic in my opinion, because he was just acting as if he knew so much more than her and was so much more knowledgeable than her, even though she's older than him and has been in the industry longer than him and is more experienced. But just because he's more famous and a man, he thinks that he knows better. No, 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 no. And then in April of 2019, he made a video titled My Truth, My Crush Does My Makeup with a Vlog Squad member, Jeff Wittek. Now, in this video, James Charles says that he's not fully gay because he's been attracted to trans men. Okay, this implies that trans men aren't real men, so this was a huge controversy in and of itself. And in his apology, he said, in an attempt to explain the very complex concept of sexuality and mine in my video today, I unintentionally implied that my trans brothers and sisters aren't valid. This is not what I was trying to say. You are valid in your identity, and I apologize and should have chosen my words wiser. That you should have. And I'm not going to say what I think about this apology because I'm not trans, so it's not my apology to accept, but there it is. Ooh, this is where it gets juicy. So James Charles in April of 2019 also received backlash for the tickets to his sister tour, where the VIP tickets were $500. Excuse me, who do you think you are, Beyonce? In a tweet, James explained that he did everything possible to keep the prices as low as possible, but I strongly disagree and don't believe that. April was a big month for James because then we get into all the drama with the Sugar Bear hair situation. So if you don't know, what you don't know is a lot, which is in the Bicester scandal of early 2019, James Charles was friends with Tati Westbrook, who had a vitamin brand called Halo Beauty, and James Charles never ever sponsored her or did anything with her products and showcased them allegedly, because he actually did at one point on his Instagram, but she said that he didn't, and it was because he didn't want to promote any sort of vitamins to his young audience. But then he went ahead and promoted Sugar Bear hair on his Instagram account so that he could get Coachella tickets or VIP Coachella tickets or whatever it is. He got something from doing that, and Tati was really upset about that, and that's what ignited her Bicester video, which is where she did a tell-all about all the problematic things about James Charles, about him being predatory towards straight men and being inappropriate in general and just not being a good friend and being problematic in all facets of his career. She mainly hit home on the idea that James Charles used his fame to manipulate people into giving him sexual advances. So yeah, that's a pretty big deal, a pretty big statement to say. And then Jeffree Star had to chime in by making a tweet alluding to the fact that there's a reason that Nathan never wanted James over to the house anymore, and that there were other people that were coming out to speak against James Charles, like Grayson, and he even called James Charles a danger to society. James Charles then posted his famous No More Lies video in defense of himself against Jeffree Star and Tati Westbrook. He came in with those receipts and he defended himself very good, so that's when people were like, okay, you know what, we'll forgive you, we'll believe you, blah blah blah, and people let things fall to the wayside after one of the biggest controversies he had ever had in his career, and people accepted his apology because he was apologizing for being cocky, for being really arrogant, and for being entitled, because this was around the time where he would complain if his video didn't break a certain number of million views in 24 hours. Like, he felt like he was entitled to views. Now, mixed in with all that Bicester controversy was also one of the first straight guys that James Charles was involved with. This was Gage Gomez, where Gage Gomez and James Charles were apparently talking for 5 months prior to Coachella, and then James brought Gage with him to Coachella and then got upset when Gage didn't want to pursue a relationship with him. Gomez allegedly claimed that James Charles wanted to pressure him into sexual activities, even though he told James Charles that he was not attracted to men. And then James Charles spoke out against him in this tweet. Now, this tweet is very, very long, so I won't bore you by reading of it. Basically, he calls Gage Gomez a liar and a clout chaser. And that's that on that. Now, I didn't mention before, but there was a famous group on YouTube that James Charles was involved in called the Sister Squad, which involved him, Emma Chamberlain, and Grayson and Ethan Dolan of the Dolan Twins. And they were a famous group. Their videos and collabs on YouTube got millions and millions of views, and everybody loved them. And then after the Bicester scandal, or Dramageddon 2.0 was finished, that's when the group kind of disbanded, and there wasn't a clear reason as to why they were no longer friends, but people theorized it had something to do with James Charles making Grayson uncomfortable with all of his advances and sexual jokes towards him. So 2019 was a big year for James Charles with Bicester and Dramageddon 2.0, but then we get into 2020. So 2020 starts off with a bang. On James Charles's New Year's Instagram stories, he posted a video of him singing My Type by Saweetie, and people thought that he said the N-word, and then the James Charles is Over party was trending on Twitter. So apparently he didn't actually say it, so he was forgiven for that, and people moved on. And then in April of 2020, James Charles participated in the mugshot trend, where people basically put bruises and horrible face makeup on to make it look like they'd been beat up. But later, after the backlash, James Charles deleted the tweets because they glorified domestic abuse and criminal behavior. But James Charles didn't really think it was that big of a deal, stating, "Only I could lazily smudge on some purple eyeshadow and fake blood to create a dumb TikTok trend and have it twisted into an actual scandal." So he didn't think it was that big of a deal, but honestly, use your platform for good and be wiser with what you post. Then things turned around and went into James Charles's favor after Jeffree Star went on the Mom's Basement podcast, which I have a whole video on, where he basically discussed the fact that he was not going to release the information against James Charles because he did not want to out a victim of James Charles, and basically placed all the blame on Tati. And then Tati made a video called Breaking My Silence, where she basically said that she was coerced by Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson into making the Bicester video about James. And that was when the demise of Jeffree Star and mainly Shane Dawson's career happened, and everyone started bringing up stuff from their past, and then they were both cancelled, for lack of a better word. And I have videos about that as well if you want to see that. She ended that video with an apology saying, "James, I'm so sorry that I allowed myself to be poisoned and weaponized against you. I'm sorry that I bought into any of their lies. Believing those lies and allowing myself to be gaslit into making that video is one of the biggest regrets of my life." So it's good that she apologized for like destroying the career of a 20-year-old. But honestly, she shouldn't have done it in the first place. Even if she was gaslit, she should have been wiser. But at the end of the day, she was manipulated, so I do understand where she's coming from. And then we get into the global pandemic and the way that James Charles behaved in it. James Charles was seen partying countless times throughout the pandemic, going to hype house parties and not caring, putting it in his vlog, acting so cavalier about the whole situation. And it went on for months, and he was collabing with people in the middle of the pandemic, and he just was constantly seen with people and at parties. Like, it was so hard for him to stay alone in his mansion. Honestly, James. Then James Charles got into another controversy with another celebrity, being Alicia Keys, where he was forced to apologize for subtweeting against her for making a makeup line, saying that people who don't wear makeup should not be coming out with makeup brands. That's just my opinion. But then people were like, just shut up, James. But the gag is, the beauty line wasn't even makeup. It was skincare the whole time, because Alicia Keys had come out a few years ago saying she wasn't going to wear makeup anymore, so she was coming out with a skincare brand. But James Charles just saw that she was coming out with a beauty line, assumed it was makeup, subtweeted her, boom, boom, boom. He acts on impulse. That's his problem, okay? But he made a whole big apology about that, which once again, I'm not going to read, because if I was to read all the apologies in this video would be an hour and 50 minutes long. In September of 2020, we had the first time that H3H3, Ethan Klein, butted heads with James Charles, where he accused James Charles of copying one of his Teddy Fresh designs. But James Charles followed up with a tweet denying the fact that he ever copied any of Ethan Klein's color blocking designs, saying that it was just some coincidence. Alrighty guys, before we continue with the video, I just want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators to explore their new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. There are thousands of classes on Skillshare to explore, ranging from animation to creative writing to film and video to fine art to graphic design to illustration to music to photography to web development, and so much more to explore. Recently, I've been taking a course by Marques Brownlee called YouTube Success, Script, Shoot, and Edit with MKBHD, and I've been learning a lot through this course to build on the knowledge that I already have when it comes to making YouTube videos, because recently I've been trying to get better at scripting, and he gave me some really clear points on how to tie together a common thread in your video to make sure that your video flows, and just overall the importance of scripting a video like you're talking to a friend, so it keeps the audience engaged and enthralled in what you're discussing. Now, Skillshare is great because it's curated specifically for learning, meaning that there are no ads, and they're always launching new premium classes so that you can stay focused and follow your creativity wherever it takes you. And because Skillshare is sponsoring this video, the first 1,000 of you to click the link in my description will get 30% off an annual premium membership so you can explore your creativity. Even if you've already had a free trial of Skillshare, you can still take advantage of this offer to get a full year of unlimited learning and creative exploration. So yeah, click that link in the description. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and let's get back into the video. Okay, then we get into all of the grooming allegations against James Charles, where we had all of these underage boys coming out against him. So this is where it's going to be a recap of stuff that you might already know, but I think it's important to hit home because this is where it gets really, really serious. So in February of 2021, a 16-year-old boy claimed that James Charles had groomed him and pressured him into sending him inappropriate pictures. James Charles spoke out against the allegations and said that he was not aware of the boy's age, even though the boy had his age in his TikTok bio, so it's not that hard to find. It doesn't take an investigator. That same month, 3 more boys came forward with allegations against James Charles. Amongst them, a 17-year-old boy shared screenshots alleging that James had continued to flirt with him via Instagram messages even after learning his age. And then Trisha Paytas and Ethan Klein from the H3 podcast, from the Frenemies podcast, made several videos about James Charles and called out all of the things against him, all the allegations, and all the brands that continue to still work with him. For a while there, Morphe was still working with James until they finally cut ties with him, and even Chipotle worked with James, so they called him out for that. And then Nickelodeon gave him a Kids' Choice Awards, which is just so ironic given everything coming out against him. In March of 2021, James Charles was fired from hosting Instant Influencer, a show he created with YouTube Originals. YouTube said that Instant Influencer will take a new creative direction, including a new host for season 2. And then in March of 2021, a 15-year-old came out with a TikTok showing videos and photos of interactions that are inappropriate that he had with James Charles. It just keeps going. It doesn't stop. It just keeps going and going and going. He said that James Charles accused him of lying about his age, but he also said that James Charles knew of his age. There's a lot of boys saying that James Charles knew of their ages when he was speaking to them, so it's all just very, very fishy. Then James Charles makes his video holding himself accountable, where he apologizes to only 2 boys, both under the age of 18. James Charles goes on to explain the reasoning behind why these happened, basically with the famous line saying, "I hate to admit this, and it's ridiculously embarrassing to admit this, but I'm desperate." And he basically touched on the fact that he understands now that he has a power imbalance and that he shouldn't have been speaking to his fans and using his fans as a dating pool, and he's going to hold himself accountable and take a break, and moving forward it will not happen again. So let's hope it doesn't. And this entire drama ended with a statement that James Charles made on Twitter saying, "Since posting that video, many other people have come forward with a series of misleading stories and false allegations which have been reported on by many people, creators, and news outlets. My legal team has begun taking action against those that have spread misinformation and or created completely fake stories, as this has gone too far." So now he's going to be out here sister suing people. I see who it is. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but Morphe dropped James Charles and YouTube dropped James Charles as Instant Influencer, and YouTube has temporarily demonetized James Charles' channel, and he is on a hiatus from social media. He has not posted in weeks. So he has seen some repercussions for his actions, but moving forward, I think that all he can do is come back to the internet and just let this not happen again. And Lord knows that if it happens again, I don't think he's gonna survive it, honestly. But that's everything wrong with James Charles. It's basically just the tip of the iceberg. We've just scratched the surface, but I hope people can remember this when he comes back, and that people will not be quick to forgive him, because I think we need to wait and see his growth and change, because it's not going to happen overnight. Do I believe he can change? Hopefully. I mean, people who constantly talk to minors inappropriately, there's definitely something wrong there. I don't know. It depends if he actually knew how old they were at the time. And if he didn't know how old they were, then yes, maybe he can change. But if he did, then that's very, very sick. But at the end of the day, we'll just have to wait and see. Only time can tell. But let me know what you guys think down below in this comment section about this whole entire situation, about James Charles's career in general. And yeah, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below your thoughts. Don't forget to check out Skillshare, link down below. And if you've not already, all my social media is linked down below if you'd like to go ahead and follow me, as well as a link to my second channel, my merch, my podcast, and my Cameo. Alrighty guys, that's it for me in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see my next one. And as always, I hope that you have a great day or night wherever you're in the world. Bye!